Hi everyone, we have a video to tell you about some things that happened over the weekend, some highlights that were trending on Saturday and Sunday. We'll also discuss River's transfer market. I want to thank everyone who joined us yesterday in our first summer stream where we talked about new signings and what might be coming. We had a great time. If you missed it, you can watch it on demand. We had a great stream yesterday. The guy was cool and cocky, but we had a good time. Let's discuss who might be coming to River and who's already here. Aníbal, Moreno and Fausto Vera are already here. For me, Aníbal Moreno is a big thumbs up. Fausto Vera, he's coming off almost a year without playing, but, well, at one point he was a good signing. Today I have my doubts. We need to see when he wears the River jersey. Facundo Mura, the former Racing player, has until Wednesday to respond before becoming a free agent. If he joins Inter Miami with Messi or comes to River, I think there's a 60% chance he'll come to River and 40% to Inter Miami. Forward for River, I think Santino Andino will be the winger who comes to River. There's talk about a surprise signing who might arrive. People ask me about Icardi, about Balotelli, about Darwin Núñez, all just rumors. Hope River surprises us with a new number 9 signing. They say River will make do with what they have. Driussi, who according to those close to him, is having a great preseason and working hard. Hopefully, he avoids injuries. Roberto Endadin, and, well, as forwards also Maxi Salas and Facundo Colidio. We'll see if Colidio gets offers and River chooses to sell. Romagna, the central defender from San Lorenzo, River is interested. They made an offer for 50%. There will be news this week, including about Ascasibar, as River is still pursuing him despite signing Aníbal Moreno. Well, this is more or less a summary of what's currently going around and could end up at River. 3. They're also talking about Baez, the left back from San Lorenzo. Poor San Lorenzo, they're going to lose everyone, we'll see. Alright everyone, let's talk about what you saw on the video cover. It was trending this weekend in Argentina. Martin Souto. Why was he trending? Because he's just another Secanucas. Well, the truth is that we did a poll a few hours ago, a couple of days ago on YouTube here on our account, about who was the Secanucas 2025. We put up some personalities, Maxi Levy. We included Beloso, Central's president, as well as Duca Carrozza and another option for write-ins. Duca Carrozza won this vote by a wide margin as the Secanucas of the year. But I think we should have added Martin Souto. We shared the conversation he had with Canepa and we talked about it.
There's no league left, Argentina. I'm sure the Argentine league is gone.
What happens is that they became champions.
Today you have cups. All Argentine tournaments are cups, but you don't have a league that represents the consistency of a season.
Having playoffs doesn't mean it's not a league.
A league is designed for every team to play each other under equal conditions, rewarding the most consistent team in the tournament. Today, Argentina no longer has that, lacking both competition and a league.
It doesn't have the round-robin league format. That's what it means.
And that's the concept of the league.
Well, yes, in part you're right.
It has no league. It truly doesn't.
But it's like saying it doesn't have a...
I think it's ridiculous, sorry. So the format isn't everyone against everyone? Okay, it changed. It's similar to some cups since there's a qualifying stage and then a playoff to decide the winner. You don't like it? The Argentine League is one of the most important leagues in the world.
It used to be.
No, it is.
Either way, it's among the most important championships. You don't have a league, Martin, you said it yourself. Now with playoffs and cups, you don't face every opponent. What's the concept of the league? The concept of the league is you have a league, everyone plays against everyone, and in the end, the best one will be the champion.
The Mexican Championship doesn't have a league either. Playoffs have always decided the system.
Yes, but everyone plays against everyone.
No, in the playoffs, teams don't all play each other. It's one team versus another.
Yes, but who do you play to reach the playoffs?
Against everyone.
Ah, okay.
But not to become champion.
But you played against everyone?
Alright everyone, Souto doesn't understand the concept of a league. A league is a tournament where everyone plays against everyone else, and the one with the most points becomes the champion. In fact, there's a phrase he says that I think is the most striking part of this whole segment you saw. He says to him, without even blushing, he says, it's one of the best leagues in the world. First, Canepa explains to him, it's not a league, it's a cup, because 15 play on one side, 15 on the other. They don't all play against each other. There are also cross-eliminations. It's a cup, not a league. But he also says, it's one of the best leagues in the world, which stands out to me. No. If you go to another country or talk in other countries about whether they would watch many matches from the Argentine League, they say no. They watch a classic, maybe a final, but nobody really cares. Recently, the Estudiantes vs Platense match received very low ratings. How can it be that if it's one of the best leagues in the world, people in other countries don't choose to watch it? Honestly, it was very exposed and quickly trended on social media. Going back to the topic of new signings and Aníbal Moreno, here we have an excerpt of Martin Arévalo talking with Hugo Balasone, and you'll see what I mean. In fact, there were posts. They were desperate to get Aníbal Moreno for 7 million. Here's one saying, "Go get Aníbal Moreno." River closed the deal very quickly, and you'll notice in Arévalo's words that it caused them quite a bit of pain.
So, Martin, what can you tell us about Boca this Sunday?
Well, let's see. Let's go name by name. Of course, you're right about what you said. Whatever happens in one place always affects the neighbor, not because it's close, but because it's the one you keep an eye on. And it's clear that yesterday, around 6:30 in the evening, when River closed the deal for Aníbal Moreno at $7 million, the news hit Boca, but not because it bothered them, but because he was a player that Boca had been after about a year ago. Because it was at the beginning of this season, back in December or January. At that time, Aníbal Moreno was looking forward to the Copa Libertadores and Club World Cup, and he was valued at 15. What happens in one place naturally affects the other.
Because to Tati's little cough, we also have to add information from Aguilera, because maybe Boca has something else to say, right?
Are they coughing because Borja went to Mexico and used them?
I don't know. They're talking to you, right?
It's true. Borja, what he did, Borja set up the Boca thing to use it.
Yes. What Boca couldn't believe was how much River was paying Borja. Good thing DiCarlo is fixing that, right? It was unbelievable.
Didn't you love Borja and not care about the money? He was incredible. Even more than Milton. I heard you say more than Milton, more than this.
Real champions played at River, and it's true they made a lot of money, but Borja, come on.
First, I want to congratulate you because the scoop you gave about Borja to Cruz Azul seems like it's really happening.
Yes, that's how it's going to be.
What Boca always wanted to do was this thing of, if the player is interested, Boca is willing to make an offer. What happens is that the offer Boca could make was clearly way below what Cruz Azul could pay. At one point they said that Cruz Azul didn't have a spot, that they couldn't bring Borja in, but everything seems to indicate that Borja is going to be a player in Mexican soccer. So Boca loses an option there. Boca is going to look for a striker to have as an alternative to the three they already have. For now, Milton, Cavani, and Moreno are all staying.
Did they not pursue Flaco Lopez?
They never went after him.
Because there aren't many number 9s on the market that fit Boca's style for a Copa Libertadores. About Borja, I want to add this because Boca made an attempt after that question from Negro Bulos and Borja's hint, along with his brother. Chelo Delgado calls Juan Pablo Pachon, who's been part of Borja's family of agents for a long time. And first they call Borja, and Borja says, "In Argentina I don't have any jerseys. In Argentina I'm not a fan of any team." With that, he acknowledged Boca's interest.